What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next movie review, I'm going to get into the Star Wars Original Trilogy film review. And I'm going to start with the first movie of Star Wars that started it all. That started the entire Star Wars phenomenon. And that's Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So this movie was made in 1977. Directed by George Lucas. And this is George Lucas's creation. I mean, Star Wars is his baby. He made this franchise what it is. He made this franchise what it is. And he was just so dynamic with his casting, with this franchise and all that. Star Wars made history, too, because it was really one of the first blockbuster movies of all time. I mean, just look at the box office. It was on a measly budget of $11 million. And its box office total, now this is all re-releases and things like that, and in the box office in general in the 70s, $775.4 million in box office totals. Which will probably go up as you see more re-releases of Star Wars in theaters, perhaps, in the future and all that. But yeah, this was the Star Wars that started it all. And the story goes like this, without giving too much away. The Rebels are after a Death Star plans, Death Star blueprints for the creation of the Death Star, which is the Galactic Empire's big machine, which has the capability to destroy planets and all that sort of thing. And so they're after it. Darth Vader and his army, Darth Vader and the Galactic Empire are after the Rebels and the plans. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker is on his way to become a Jedi. He's a simple farm boy, and discovers that maybe he's got a lot of potential as a Jedi and all that sort of thing. And so he comes in and he goes on an adventure with Princess Leia and Han Solo, and they go on an adventure and they try to defeat the Galactic Empire and destroy the Death Star. That's pretty much what the movie's about. Now, you all know the actors, the main actors in this movie. Mark Hamill plays Luke Skywalker. And it is, I mean, in this movie in general, his acting is solid. I wouldn't say it's anything spectacular, but I understand what George Lucas was trying to go for in this movie, portraying Han or Luke as an excited teenage boy, or about teenager boy, who is excited about being a Jedi and all that. He wants to become. At first, he wanted to go into the army, into the Republic, their forces and all that as a pilot. But then and he does piloting throughout the Star Wars films. Just his main focus is as a Jedi Knight. Harrison Ford, of course, plays Han Solo. This was Harrison Ford's big break in movies. It really was. It catapulted him into superstardom. And you just can't imagine anybody other than Harrison Ford in this role. There were a list of names who were tried out for Han Solo. Kurt Russell, Nick Nolte, Sylvester Stallone, Bill Murray, Christopher Walken, Burt Reynolds, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Billy Dee Williams, or Perry King as well. that's a list of A-list stars right there. And Harrison Ford, who was pretty well known in movies, he was in a movie called American Graffiti in 1973, that was also directed by George Lucas. And at first, George Lucas didn't want Harrison Ford in his movie because he wanted new faces for his movie, Star Wars and all that. But eventually, Harrison Ford won out, and he played, he ended up playing Han Solo, and it's just a legendary character. Han Solo is one of the best characters in the entire Star Wars universe. I love the guy. He's got such a sarcastic sense of humor. He's a swashbuckler. He's a bad boy turned good. Carrie Fisher plays Princess Leia. And one of the people, a well-known actress who actually turned down the role of Princess Leia. This probably goes down in history as one of the biggest mistakes ever for an actress. Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster played, was expected. She turned down the role of Princess Leia. Who knows what Jodie Foster would have brought to the table, but man, she probably kicked herself there after Star Wars became a huge hit. And Carrie Fisher became a superstar playing Leia. But, my God, it must have been hard. But, at the time, the original Star Wars was expected to be a huge failure. That movie was not expected to do anything at all. George Lucas was gambling a lot on this film. Peter Cushing plays Grand Moff Tarkin, one of the major leaders of the Republic, of the Empire. And he's a legendary actor as well. I mean, he's been in a lot of movies and things like that. He was a good appearance. He was good in the movie as Tarkin. Alec Guinness plays Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi. Who's an aging Jedi and who is Luke's mentor in the first film. Alec Guinness just plays Obi-Wan perfectly. He is a great addition to the cast. David Prowse. Now, Darth Vader is in physicality. The physical version of Darth Vader you see is played by this tall guy named David Prowse. Darth Vader is voiced, of course, by James Earl Jones. Very well known for that. Voiced Mufasa in the Lion King animated movie. Was in Coming to America and A Field of Dreams, among other films. But James Earl Jones, just the voice, the presence of Darth Vader is intimidating. And he's one of the greatest villains of all time. He really is. And they wanted Orson Welles to voice Darth Vader. Orson Welles is a pretty, to newer generations, he may not be as well known of a name, but he was an old actor back in the day that was quite talented. And then there were other people. Anthony Daniels plays C-3PO. Kenny Baker plays R2-D2. R2-D2's adorable. He's a robot, a droid, but he is adorable. He's freaking adorable, man. Peter Mayhew plays Chewbacca, who is a Wookiee, Han Solo's sidekick. And so those are pretty much the major characters in this movie. I gotta tell you, I like Star Wars: Star Wars: A New Hope. It's a good start to the Star Wars universe. I will say this, it is my least favorite out of the trilogy, out of the original trilogy, but it's not a terrible movie at all. It's not a bad movie. It is quite good. The standouts in this movie are Obi-Wan, Han Solo, and Darth Vader. They're your standouts in the film, and they just carry the movie. I understand what they wanted to do with Luke Skywalker in terms of his acting and all that. I understand that, and I'm fine with it. I really am. I think Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, played Princess Leia pretty well. Overall, I really have no big complaints with this movie. I really think it's quite good. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's a very good entry into the Star Wars series. While I don't love the movie, I quite like it. I mean, oh, I love parts of the movie, definitely. The ending, where they go into the Death Star, the battle between the stormtroopers and the Republic is just very good. It's quite good. So yeah, I really have no complaints. I really have no big issues with the movie. So I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's quite a good entry in the series. This is the movie that started the Star Wars phenomena, and I mean, it deserves a place in history as one of the greatest films of all time. Star Wars is one of the greatest franchises of all time. I mean, it's just unbelievable the way it's stayed in the cultural phenomenon, as a cultural phenomenon for years and years. And so that's pretty much it for this review on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Coming up, I will be reviewing Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. So that is it for this video. D-Rock 1992 out.